Black people can't afford to indulge rich white people's need to endlessly flagellate themselves. They just want prices to go down and good jobs and the police when you call them.
Well, if he's right, then why didn't people vote for the former prosecutor who actually had policy plans to help the working class?
And Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's the view.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
there is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
That's correct. I think that's not actually, you're right, the name raises questions, and certainly there's been some much covered internal politics on that show, but I do think that, you know, there is space. Even that show does have space. When Whoopi said what she said, there was quick pushback from other panelists. They were like, oh, I don't know. Actually, I think that might not be right. That's it. Mission accomplished. We talked about it.
Can we just understand that part of our sorry racial history in this country is that the point of view from a black person is often going to be very different and sometimes shocking to a white person. I pulled the quote from when Whoopi defended Michael Vick. Remember Michael Vick was the football player who was electrocuting dogs? And I'm a lifelong PETA board member. You know, okay. You know, also someone who believes the Nazis were good. My message to the losers, look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should, sorry. Well, that's my feeling. Would be, we gotta do something about the view.
This is exactly what happens when you touch the untouchable. Whoopi Goldberg thought she could mock Bill Maher and walk away with the upper hand, but instead, Maher completely dismantled the view and threw the facts right back in their faces. And whether people like him or not, Bill Maher is not afraid to say what most celebrities are too scared to admit. Later in the video, you'll see how he fires back at Whoopi Goldberg and completely turns the whole argument against her. Let's dive into the video, but before that, hit that like and subscribe button.
And finally, new rule, stop saying that Whoopi Goldberg getting yanked from The View right after she attacked me on The View is karma. There's no such thing as karma, sorry. Sorry, but life is random. The only word to describe it when a big game hunter gets trampled by an elephant and then eaten by lions is hilarious.
Hearing this, the hosts of The View were visibly uncomfortable in their chairs. That's when they started digging for dirt on Bill Maher. However, none of their attacks landed. Maher only pushed back harder with his sharp humor.
What did you think of Whoopi Goldberg saying it's worse to be a black person in America today than a woman in Iran? You know, I see we were talking about the trans issue before, and the New York Times really has come over on that to the sort of the sensible, liberal, not crazy woke position. I think this is a great first step toward getting the Democrats back to sanity, and a second good step would be, we got to do something about The View. I really believe that. I mean, could you just
it's huge in Iran, though.
My district in the great state of Texas is actually a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 25 points. And as I said, I'm a direct descendant of a slave. My great-great-grandfather was born on a Rosedown plantation. I am literally being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. That's the progress, because, like, a lot of white people had to vote for me. A lot.
So wait,
I don't even ever want to hear Whoopi Goldberg's conversation about how it's worse to be black in America right now. That's a bit far. And my father, who's 75 years old, he was a man that was in the French quarters that had to go get a sandwich to the back door of the building. And his son is now a United States congressman in a white majority district in Texas as a Republican. That is America. That's America. So let's celebrate that.
And Bill Maher just kept going, because the moment he started explaining it, the argument became, well, you're white, so you can't speak on this. So instead, he brought in Senator Wesley, and that completely changed the conversation. He dismantled her narrative right there, especially the idea that black people are supposed to be shocked or surprised every time someone challenges what the media has been pushing. And folks, this is exactly the kind of message the left has been pushing through every major network, using race as a shield whenever the facts start getting uncomfortable. And this video proofs everything.
I saw a clip somewhere that you were trying to get the officer who murdered
George Floyd pardon, and I just want to know
Yes,
what your
ma'am.
reasoning was about that.
Well, George Floyd didn't die because of the police officer. He died largely because of a drug overdose.
But he had his knee on his neck. And we
Yeah.
all saw the video.
But the knee on the neck is actually an approved police technique that police departments taught Derek Chauvin to use. Do you know that George Floyd was saying, "I couldn't breathe," well before that restraining technique? And
So why'd they use the technique if he already couldn't breathe?
Well, because he was actually resisting arrest, and they had to restrain him. And they restrained him in a way that they were taught to do, which is the knee on the neck technique.
Okay, so when does the like technique end? Like when they die? Like he said he couldn't breathe.
No, I mean the technique ends when the individual stops resisting arrest. His cause of death was not asphyxiation; it was drug overdose. He had
that was a part of it. Like he also had a heart like thing, and like he was on drugs. But like he wouldn't have just died if he was standing there. Like they had his.
Well,
their knee on
actually,
his
there's an
neck.
argument to be made. According to the medical examiner, he was drug overdosing in real time. That it wasn't because of the police officer, Derek Chauvin, that put his knee on the neck. And again, they were taught to do that. According to the Hennepin County Police Department, they teach that as an approved restraint technique.
And this is exactly what Bill Maher meant when he said there is only one view in America. And it is literally The View. Because for years, that show, including Whoopi Goldberg, has spoken like they are the ones being silenced, suppressed, and attacked. But the moment someone pushes back, the whole argument turns into identity. If Whoopi gets criticized or called out for something she said, she can frame it as if it is only happening because she is a black woman, instead of simply admitting that maybe the argument was weak, the facts were wrong, or people just disagreed with her.
What a shocker that the people who see everything through the lens of race and sex see their election loss as a result of racism and sexism.
I think the biggest common denominator in this election is people want a good life and ability to provide for their family.
Well,
whether we agree or not with Donald Trump's plans,
Black people
they thought that he was reflective.
One of the poorest demographics in this country, but they voted for Kamala Harris.
But there was a split, and more of them voted for Donald Trump than had historically. I think that there's such a desire. If you really think the vast majority of this country voted because of racism and misogyny, you're missing it. Most of my family, a lot of my family doesn't have college degrees.
But the stats are the stats.
But that's not, it doesn't say I'm white, I voted for Donald Trump because of racism. That's not what stat. What stat are you talking about?
Let me just dissect the two.
Yes, you can.
You guys are the ones who have institutionalized all of this evil. You guys are the ones who decided that race should be the thing that gets people into college or gets people a job. You guys did all of this. No one is listening to this nonsense.
And this is what they have been missing for a long time. Because to these people, everything comes back to racism and nothing else. They do not even want to listen if your opinion is just a little outside the box. And the moment you say something true, even if it makes sense, if it threatens their narrative, they will try to cancel you immediately. It does not matter if you are one of their own. The second you stop repeating the approved talking points, they turn on you just as fast.
Remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
Where the Iranian regime is today in 2025 is nothing compared to the United States.
Hanging black people. So
it is not even the same. I couldn't step foot wearing this outfit.
That's not what you mean to say. It is the same.
No, it's not. The year 2025 in the United States is nothing like if I step foot wearing this outfit in Tehran right now. I think it's very different to live in the United States in 2025 than it is to live in Iran.
Not if you're black.
Not for everybody.
Not if you're black.
People have different perspectives, and accepting or debating them is one thing, but that's not tolerated when it comes to The View. Here, Bill Maher pointed out an issue where Whoopi was wrong, but he never suggested that she should be pushed to the sidelines.
Have a very different opinion. And the answer is not to make them sit in a corner for 2 weeks. That is insulting. It's so insulting to make a 65-year-old, the person at ABC News said, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments. Reflect. How insulting for someone of her age, who's a sophisticated person, and the impact of her comment. There is no impact. There aren't neo-Nazis waiting for the green light from the lady on The View to go out and do a new crystal knot.
Yeah, so right. And the whole point of free speech is we don't need free speech when we're right, when everyone agrees with us. We need free speech when we're wrong. We need free speech to make mistakes. We need free speech to say really unpopular things. And one of the reasons I'm always proud to come on this show, and I suspect you feel the same way, Catherine, is this is the only space left on television where people can speak freely and not be terrified, right? And you have, and I just...
Yes, but had you ever seen anything like this happen on The View? No, never. Your grandchildren will likely never witness such a moment. Just observe how The View treats anyone who expresses even a slightly different opinion that doesn't align with their narrative. And it's not just them, but anyone from the left won't admit anything. Just anything.
Everybody's a monster till you talk to them.
Who haven't you interviewed that you want to interview?
Ironically, mostly Democrats, because they're they won't come on the show. Like the Clintons. Kamala, I voted for you. Really?
You haven't interviewed them yet?
I would love to. The Democrats are about going anywhere that they're not already pre-adored. Not all of them, but Kamala Harris. Like I always say to my woke friends, we voted for the same person. You're just why she lost.
Yep, because none of them can actually sit down and have a real 2-hour conversation. Because the moment the discussion goes deeper than their usual talking points, there is nothing left except racism. But look at this clip where The View asked Darnold about the immigrant issue, clearly expecting him to attack the right, disagree with their opponents, and support their ideology. But instead, his answer completely shocked them because he did not give them the reaction they were waiting for.
In this country. Yeah. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was impressed by the American people like that. Imagine I came over here with the age of 21, with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. But the key thing also is at the same time that we got to do things legal. That is the important thing, So you got to do things legal. And those people that are doing illegal things in America and they're the foreigners, they are not smart. Because when you come to America, you're a guest. And you have to behave like a guest. And to make my bed and to do everything that is the right thing to do rather than committing a crime or being abusive or something like that. So that doesn't really work in this country.
Yep, and they were all shocked hearing that answer. And if you watch closely, she even starts touching him like she is trying to throw him off and break his focus. And the craziest part is that there are still people watching these clowns and thinking they are getting some kind of serious political truth. But trust me, most of what gets said on The View is not useful analysis. It is just personal opinion dressed up like moral authority.
This is the greatest country in the world. But yeah, I know that. But every day we are worried. Do we have to be worried about our kids? Are our kids going to get shot because they're running through somebody's neighborhood? They are not big deals, and I don't mean to say they're not big deals to you, because that's not what I meant.
And they are not doing well there either. They are not doing well in Iran. They are not educated. They cannot have property. They cannot leave States.
Nobody wants to diminish the very real problems we have in this country. That is no one's intent. But I think it's important we remember there are places much darker than this country and people who deserve rights.
Not everybody feels that way. Not everybody feels that way. When you think about the fact that we got the vote in 1965.
Okay, they don't have free and fair elections in Iran. It's not even the same universe.
And this is exactly what happens when you have no real point but still want to talk down to everyone's face and expect them to agree with your nonsense. The second someone pushes back with a calm answer and actual logic, the whole act starts falling apart.
I mentioned this karma stuff on the show last week because I was relating how many texts and emails I got from people congratulating me on receiving a karmagram from the universe in the form of Whoopi Goldberg's chastisement. So I thought this would be a good time for a little tutorial on karma, which, as Americans understand it, is nothing more than an extension of the common logical fallacy called post hoc ergo propter hoc, which means after that, because of that. It's the fallacy that happens when someone assumes that if one thing follows another, then the first thing must have caused the second.
And this is exactly why moments like this matter. Because when people stop thinking for themselves and start repeating whatever the media tells them to believe, reality becomes impossible to discuss. Bill Maher may not be perfect, Arnold may not be perfect, and nobody in this conversation is supposed to be worshipped like some hero. But at least they are willing to say something that does not fit inside the approved script. And that is what scares these people the most. Because the moment someone walks into their room, refuses to play their game, and answers with common sense, the whole performance starts breaking apart. So maybe the real problem is not that people are divided. Maybe the real problem is that too many people are being trained to hate anyone who asks a different question.